One more systemic change, because I think that matters, and then I have an economics couple of questions for you. Systemic change. Where does it say that the parties get to control primaries? It's not in the Constitution. It's not our election law. It's culture, right?
Yeah, it's made up. If you look at the Constitution, not a word about political parties. George Washington was famously against political parties. Madison, Adams, the same thing. And so this modern system came about in 1860 when the Republicans came up. And what people generally don't realize that Abraham Lincoln was a third-party candidate. He won with 39% of the vote. So we've had this two-party system in place since then, but the polarization we're seeing is literally at multi-generational highs that haven't been seen since the Civil War, where those numbers you just showed are out of whack. I mean, if you were to rewind, and you and I are both old enough to remember this, it was not like this even 12, 14 years ago.
It's always been hot. It just wasn't only hot. And especially once you got through with the political phase and they were governing, you know, you'd have my friend on the left, my friend on the, you know, left side.
They would hang out with each other. I
That's
mean,
right. and now it's like,
you know that they'd be like arguing, and then they'd be drinking it up and making deals afterwards.
I remember my father having Ralph Marino, may they both rest in peace, the Republican, and a real Republican, tough guy, head of the Senate in New York State, over to the executive mansion. They were fighting about the budget, and they were fighting. They ate. They had a couple of glasses of wine. They obviously had an ethnic bond. They did not agree, but they talked, and they figured out what needed to be done. I don't even think I think you get killed if you do that today.
They don't talk to each other. They don't have drinks afterwards. A lot of people who enter Congress, they might not even know someone on the other side of the aisle at this point.
They're lucky if they know their own people in their own party. Everybody's so out for their own interests. So that takes us to what happens in the midterms. Every indication says these races are going to be tight, but the economy is on everybody's mind. You say the Democrats made a mistake in policy and also in messaging. What was it?
The child tax credit lifted millions of American families out of poverty and was widely popular in every state. There was a swing senators team I spoke to who were clamoring for the child tax credit to stay around because their numbers show that that would actually be the difference maker for their senator's race. And this is, by the way, one of the very, very, very close races that everyone's looking at right now. I'm sure their office was not alone. If the child tax credit were in place, I think the Democrats would have a much, much stronger argument when it comes to inflation, the economy, which is still issue number one.
Democrats say, yeah, but we couldn't do it alone. We don't have the numbers to have pushed it through ourselves. So you got to blame the other side.
There were at least a couple of Republican senators who are open to a version of it. And I know this because I was working on the child tax credit in real time. This is something that 174 economists endorsed. It should be bipartisan or nonpartisan, and that's one reason why some Republican senators are for it, because they're very pro-family, and the child tax credit is great for families.
So do you believe that economics or the economy dictates the outcome of these midterms, and that means both houses go red?
I think it's the number one issue. So the top three issues for Republican-leaning voters are inflation / the economy, crime, and immigration. And then for Democrats, it's abortion, democracy, which is one reason I think that we saw the speech we saw tonight, though most of it is just because that's what the president actually thinks and feels. And then the third is health care. And so if you look at the different issues, you have to favor the Republicans because I think their winning issues are top of mind for more Americans.
Now, do you think that that is horrible? My therapist says it's the only real four-letter word, fair. When you look at the economy and the state of it and what really causes inflation and how many jobs you have and all the different indicators, do you believe that it is fair to say that President Biden tanked the economy?
Well, I think that we project all sorts of powers and abilities onto our political leaders that may or may not be fair, to your point. One very fair argument towards Republicans is, hey, like, what's your actual plan, aside from maybe cutting taxes, which may or may not be the recipe right now. We spent trillions of dollars on COVID recovery. It preserved a lot of jobs. A lot of that money went to corporates as well as state and local governments. It did end up juicing inflation. So some of that was bipartisan. The CARES Act was passed while Trump was still president. I think that it's holding them to a very, very tough standard to say that all of this is the Biden administration's fault.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.